when preparing this Holy Gospel, I looked into the original to see what was written, and it is the word soul that is used each time in this Gospel, and it is therefore, even in the RSV, only an equivalent that is coming through in the word life. The original concept of the Hebrew was nephesh. As you probably know, Hebrew is fairly poor in abstract terms, and it tends to use concrete ones. So when they say nephesh, soul, they mean a lot of things, including the very life. And they even use it as reflexive. If they want to say doing something to oneself, they say doing it to one's soul. So it's a very all-purpose word. But the fact that we have in the original Greek this word psyche, soul, coming in, does have connotations which can be explored and need to be on this day. I can't help but remembering how I was moved at the age of 13 by a powerful, and I say powerful, sermon given to the whole English nation by Billy Graham on this very gospel, and he went to town on what it was to lose one's soul and gain the whole world, and reminded us that that's actually what's going on. What is happening on this planet right now? A huge, massive, wild goose chase, but not for the soul. It's often for the body, or for something that might gratify body and soul, but not the soul itself. Pleasure, glory, a place in history, power, but not the soul. And we priests know that the more a person has with regard to all that, power, beauty, attention, glory, success, the more, in other words, self-sufficient that person is, the harder it is quite often to treat the soul. It's been neglected for all the rest, and it's not had attention. Everything else has, and it's still not getting attention. Whereas we know that quite often, no matter what a person has done, if a person is broken, and therefore not having all that, at least for the time being, it's far easier to get through. As the psalm says, a humbled, contrite, that means broken, that means actually crushed heart, you will not spurn, O Lord. And I remember reading that in a mystic of the medieval period. It was a holy nun to whom the Lord would speak, and she cried out in her distress, "Where are you, Lord?" And this was given to her as an answer, that he was close to the broken-hearted, and the reason being that when there's no human consolation, the soul precisely is more open to the divine, and he's waiting for the soul there. So it can be, if there is a crushing going on before men, and with regard to all this other stuff, glory being taken away, success vanishing, poverty and lack of glory and everything else that we were counting on, it can be the very place where the Lord is waiting. So Providence has its own language and operation as well, which we need to collaborate with and not reject. Rejecting it would be precisely playing the game of the one who wants us harm, suicide, and suicide of the soul, turning away from God. God doesn't know what he's doing, I will reject him. The person who is really actually nothing at all is in his truth. And on this day of the Lord, it is important that we pause and think of that. What care am I taking of my soul? Am I giving it care? And we see actually a huge victory for the enemy of the soul right now on this day of the Lord, how society in Christian lands has evolved from a day when the Lord had his rights for the soul, and the soul was taken care of, to something quite different. Maybe the pandemic was meant also partly as a providential moment of calming down, a pause in all that, but how many received it that way? If we return to the normal of always running through life, including the day of the Lord, once more we'll fall back into that pit. What are we here for? We have the privilege of the day of the Lord. It's good to be with the Lord, listening to Him and picking up the graces that He's packed up for us for that day that we can't unpack if we're doing other things. We can't meet Him if we don't want to. But if we spend that time in pausing at least once a week, as He wants, giving us the Shabbat, then we can take care of our soul. That means learning, reading, knowing more, not squandering its energy on what is not of life eternal, avoiding stuff which damages it, pride, impurity, waste of its energy on huge distraction which won't serve anything, and on it would go. We take so much care of the body, how much do we look after what is going to last forever and ever? And one moment after death we will see, did we look after our soul? Have we yet to start from zero? It wasn't done in this world. Nel Vangelo abbiamo questo versetto che nell'originale parla dell'anima, perdere l'anima, psyche. È un invito a pensare all'essenziale della vita e non sprecare l'energia dell'anima nel corpo e nel successo, nella gloria vana. Una persona che non è un successo, una persona che è un apparente fallimento, un non essere davanti agli altri, facilmente per un prete è più facile a guarire, perché non è pieno di se stesso. Una persona piena di gloria non ha bisogno di altra cosa. E la provvidenza può usare anche il fallimento. Dio c'è. Mi ricordo di aver letto questo in un anno dell'epoca del grande misticismo del Medioevo, una santa anima che ha chiesto a Gesù dove eri e lui ha risposto che era vicino all'anima contrita, cioè quella che non ha più gloria se non in lui. Il giorno del Signore è un momento anche di prendere cura dell'anima, una pausa voluta nel sistema del Creatore stesso, lo Shabbat. L'ascolto, questo calma, questa attesa della parola, nutrire l'anima con insegnamento, studio e ascolto diretto della parola di Dio e nella preghiera. Se non si fa questo, chi cura ha l'anima di se stessa? Dopo la morte si vede la cura che ha fatto. Chiediamo questa grazia di prendere cura dell'anima e di vivere per la vita eterna, detto qui per Gesù. Lui penserà alla gloria nostra. Noi in Lui troviamo tutto. Senza di Lui, sa che hanno noi fallimento totale.